first job I'll do is label my line of intersection as points 1 and 2. I'm going to break surface A down a little bit smaller, so I'll take point 3. So those 3 points will define surface A. Just take those up to elevation. Points 1, 2, and 3. Now down here on the plan, I'm going to take point 4 there on the surface B. And I'll project up to elevation where I don't know the height. So that's what I would like to find. If I find the height of B, then I can finish the elevation. The information given is that the dihedral angle between A and B is 150. So we have the line of intersection in both views. We have both surfaces in this view, but we're just missing surface B in this view. So I'm going to proceed without it. Set up and take a view perpendicular to the line of intersection. Now points 2 and 3 are on the horizontal plane. Point 1 is at my first height, and I don't know the height of point 4. I can't find that yet, so I'm going to have to find this again and come back. So that was point 1. That gives me 1 to 2. Sorry, I'll actually join 1 to 3 first. 1 to 3 there is just the line crossing through A, and 1 to 2 is the line of intersection. Now while I'm here, I'm going to just project along the true length of the line of intersection. Now, in my plan view down, or my auxiliary elevation view down here, that's the green surface. So, to take the distances from my x2, y2, what I'm going to do is skip one view and work back. Also realizing that we have a plan, an elevation and a plan, so we're going to link up our two plans. So the first distance is very small here, back to number 3, taking out to number 3. Back to number 2, and 1 should be the same, taken out to number 2 and 1. And I can go that far, just join them up, and what I've just got is an edge view of A. Edge view of A. On the regular question, we would also now have a distance that we could work with. We have a point here someplace that we could work with. Now, what we need to realize is this: point 4 should be higher than point 1, which means it should be someplace further out than point 1. And if we were projecting, it would be over here someplace. So it would be, I'm expecting it to be out here someplace. So when I take the dihedral angle that was given to me, and I always prefer to extend these lines a little bit before using my protractor. So that I can line up my zeros. When I am marking now, I'm going to mark out from 0 around my dihedral to 150, which is what is given. That is an edge view of surface B. Now I need to look at what information I have here. So I don't have a projection to bring out to hit. What do I have? Well, I took the distance 3 and the distance 1, 2 from my XY back. So I have the point 4. If I take the distance back, all I'm missing now is an exact point where I can mark it. But as you can see from the movement here, if I can just find every possible point where I am a set distance away. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to just take my original projection angle here and just create. Just create a projection which I can treat as a height line. I'm taking that distance back to point 4. I'm going to just mark it on that line. And that's going to allow me, once again, take my projection angle and map that distance line onto the dihedral. So I've just taken the distance back to 4. And because I don't have an exact position of where I should take it onto, well, I do have any position, and then I have all positions, and I get 0.4. So I'm just using my usual method and applying it backwards. I'm ready then to bring 0.4 back, and I have a projection, so it's going to work in back here for me. Project it back to correspond with 0.4. I wanted to do this, to be very technical about this, but I could join up 4 to 1 and 2. And add the outline shading onto that surface. And finally, originally I took the height of 1 from my elevation and brought it to my auxiliary elevation. Well, this time I'm going to take a height of 4 on my auxiliary, and I can bring it back up to the male elevation. This allows me to complete the elevation. And just from looking at that little 3D graphic there to the side, I can see that these 2 points remain on the ground. This point is up at the top of B. And there we have the complete drawing. So in most cases, actually if I wanted to really complete this now, so then correlating all views, there's 0.4 and there's the blue surface. In most cases we are given the 2 surfaces and we have to find the dihedral, and then in some cases we are given the dihedral with 1 surface missing, or just in this case 1 point missing. The hardest part here, I think, is that once you get this far, do you apply the dihedral angle working up or working down, and maybe just a little bit of thought on where the point should be. Maybe just drop that circle in where you think the point should be in each view, and that might help you in that decision.